Hello, ReZero fans. You know what type of video it is today. It's another ReZero discussion video. And honestly, this episode was peak. This episode fucking cooked so hard. It was a mix of action. We actually got action this episode and emotion, man. It was so emotional at the same time. Obviously, the title of the episode is Julius's Name Chapter. It's Julius's Name Chapter, and honestly, they really cooked. Not only did we get to see a scene from season 1 get reanimated into the season 4 animation art style, but we got to so much shit happened. So much shit happened. We got to see Julius versus Reed. We got to see Amelia versus Reed. We got obviously the flashback to season 1. We got to see how Julius's POV was during that kind of scene, which we will get into. But honestly, it fucking cooked so hard. I'm looking forward to the next episode purely because I've been spoiled on the cliffhanger. But alas, we're discussing this week's episode. So get comfy and let's get into the episode's context. The episode starts off with a season 4 animation flashback to a scene all the way back into season 1, the scene where Sue Brunatsky stood in front of the council and the Royal Knights and self-declared himself Amelia's knight, but it's from Julius's perspective. And honestly, like I said at the start of the video, it was nice to kind of see this scene like reanimated, because it just goes to, it's like a journey. Like, you're watching this scene in season 1 and now it's in season 4. You get to see like so many animation differences, and you can just tell how different everything is and how like better it looks in season 4. Obviously, if we look at Julius's season 1 art style compared to his new one, honestly, that the changes are bloody beautiful. Not only that, it's just nice to see like old animation from previous seasons of anime kind of renewed, because it just kind of shows the changes and how better they've got over the years of making this series. The scene switches to the confrontation between Julius and the stick swinger, aka Reed Estrella. And may I just say, Julius was getting flooded with just a pair of chopsticks. Now, honestly, watching this fight, I was like, I kind of feel bad for Julius, man. I kind of feel bad for Julius because my boy was getting ragged around like a rag doll. Reed was not messing around at all. He was not. He knew he was stronger than Julius. Bro was just aura farming. Bro was ego farming. He was literally blocking Julius's swordmanship skills. He literally years of training with a sword to be a knight. He was blocking any attack that came his way with a pair of chopsticks. Now, we know this guy's a scumbag when it comes to women. And boy, his ego is up here, and bro decided to aura farm and just humiliate Julius. I felt so bad for him. Honestly, I was like, there's no way. And the funny thing is, not even the funny thing, actually, this is not funny at all. It was in front of Anastasia. I was going to say the funny thing is because Julius does not know that Anastasia is basically asleep and it's the fox spirit echidna that's taken over. So I think Julius is getting foddered in front of a woman that he swore to protect. Julius is Anastasia's knight, so bro thinks Anastasia's literally watching him get absolutely decimated. He does not know that Echidna, the fox spirit, has taken control yet. So it's like, this man is he's getting embarrassed, man. He's getting it. But yeah, Julius was getting put to shame, so much so that Echidna started spamming the same lightning spell in order to assist Julius. And when I say Julius was getting ragged around, he was getting ragged around. Just when I thought Julius was about to make a comeback because of Echidna's interference, who he still thinks is Anastasia, Reed dodges Julius's counterattack and starts spam blocking Julius's multiple sword strikes. Inevitably though, with one punch, Julius gets KO'd. The group, or should I say Amelia, sees the situation that if Julius couldn't leave a dent, the group would be hopeless at defeating this guy. So Amelia initiates a proposal that if she can make Reed move a single step, she will be automatically made the winner. And honestly, obviously, we just got to see Julius versus Reed. Julius could not do anything. And now it's Amelia's turn, and it's nice to see like the difference. This is what I'm saying. When you watch a show and you just see the development, you can spot so many differences. So now Amelia uses like kind of brand styled ice techniques, like she crafts weapons, like even more different weapons that we first saw in season 3. And it's just interesting to see from season 1, where she just created icicles, projectiles, but now she's quite literally kind of mastered ice brand arts, where she just creates weapons. And we saw this when she was fighting Regulus and Sirius. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the development in movesets as well. So, yeah, now it's time to see how Emilia fares against Reed. So, Emilia uses different types of ice brand techniques in order to gain an advantage against Reed. And this sequence and the music used was very epic, but alas, was proving to be doing 0 damage. Reed catches Emilia's ice sword in his mouth and proceeds to be a scumbag. And, yeah, he does this. Emilia, however, not realising what this guy just did, smashes an attack over Reed's head, making him fall flat on the ground. So Reed, despite being a scumbag, is shocked at Emilia's nonchalant response after the stunt he pulled and can't believe that someone this innocent exists. Subaru has a valid ass crash out, throwing insults at Reed and going as far as to saying he's worse than a Sin Archbishop. So honestly, when it comes to certain things, Emilia does not know anything about this. We saw this first in season 2 when she first thought that babies were made when a boy and a girl kissed. Puck is a fucking fraud, bro. Puck is a fraud. He did not explain anything to Emilia about the ways of life. He just he set her up for the election with Roswaal and then decided to just dip out of nowhere the minute Subaru enters the picture, bro. Where's Puck gone? But anyways, my boy Puck did not fucking explain anything to Emilia. So first she thought that a baby was born from when a boy and a girl kissed, and now she just doesn't know what Reed did was such a scumbag move. Like, there was no, like, reaction at all. If anything, she saw it as an opportunity to smack this guy over the head with an ice hammer. And, you know, Subaru's reaction was so funny because, bro, how are you comparing Reed to a Sin Archbishop? Like, he was hurling insults, but saying he is worse, or even worse than a Sin Archbishop is crazy. Because you know how evil the Sin Archbishops are. Reed's just a fucking scumbag, bro. So, seeing that, comparing him to a Sin Archbishop, I know for when my boy Subaru got rage baited, bro, was angry. And you know what? A valid crash out. Moving on, now that Emilia was successful at making Reed move, she qualifies to continue. However, there's a catch. Since Emilia alone beat Reed, only she is allowed to proceed, and the rest of the group, in order to follow her, must also succeed. They rendezvous back into one of the rooms below to discuss their next plan. Shula wakes up at last and begins freaking out after Subaru tells her the reason she passed out to begin with was because she saw Reed, and the reason she reacted the way it was because she was surprised that Reed was still alive, and she just seems to be absolutely scarred by this man's scumbagness, man. Obviously, the few episodes before this, we saw her reaction at the mere name drop of just Reed. Just the mere name, just the mere thought of him made her literally crash the fuck out. She is scarred for life. I don't know what the fuck Reed did to this girl. This poor girl who has literally been told to protect this tower for 400 years. What has this man done to her? She's scarred, and then seeing him was enough to make her literally pass out. How much of a scumbag is this dude? Another thing I think was cool this episode is we got to see the silhouettes of 3 characters who have been described to be the strongest in their countries, just like Reinhardt. Now, if you're familiar with the If stories, if you've watched most of the If stories or read the If stories, you're gonna know 2 of these characters at least, and one of them is Cecilus, the Blue Lightning of the Valakia Empire, and the second one is Halibel, the Admirer, who resides in Kararagi. And obviously these 2 characters appear in more than one If story, honestly, especially Halibel. Halibel appears in 2 If stories, if I remember, but just being able to see them animated, their silhouettes at least, is kind of big. And obviously I know we get to see Cecilus in, I think, Arc 7 or Arc 8, but you know what I mean, it's the first kind of like a silhouette drop, and especially Halibel as well, you know what I mean. But if you haven't watched the If stories or read them, I do suggest, because they're kind of spin-off stories of what would have happened if Subaru made a different decision, or if things didn't go his way to the point where he just went to an alternate route. I do recommend reading them, because peak fiction, brand. Subaru goes to check on Julius in the room where the spirit heals injuries, where Julius has disappeared. He has returned to the floor where Reed, Astrea, resides, where another rematch seems to have been initiated, and it seems to be going no differently to how the first fight went. Reed goes to deal a finishing blow against Julius as Subaru runs in. Subaru carries a yet again defeated Julius down the stairs, where it seems Julius is being too prideful and begins rejecting Subaru's help. Julius is aware of the stick swinger's identity. He knew it was Reed, and he knew deep down he doesn't hold a candle to him, yet he still feels like his knighthood has took a hit. Now, honestly, I love the parallel between this scene, honestly the episode as a whole, overall, compared to season 1, because obviously in season 1 we got to see Subaru being the prideful one. He was prideful, you know what I mean, he didn't want to be humiliated in front of Emilia. He wanted to be as close to her as possible, have a role that's as close to her as possible, and in this world it's a knight protecting their candidate. And honestly, when Subaru found out about this, he self-proclaimed himself to be Emilia's knight. And to the knights, that is treason, that is a disrespect on high levels, because these knights have made it their life's goal to become knights of the kingdom. These guys have trained day in, day out for years. This is like their life. And then this dude, basically off the streets, out of nowhere, comes in and basically says, yeah, I'm on the same tier list as these guys, bro. You know what I mean? They have every right to be mad. You know what I mean? They have every right to let this cause a crash out, but Subaru being too prideful in his action, he didn't see what was wrong at the time, but he was basically being too prideful, and he was going to get punished for what he did. But Julius, I don't even know if Julius also felt kind of hurt or like angered by Subaru's actions, but we find out later in the episode that he was moved, hence why Julius initiated the door with Subaru in the first place. Because these knights were angered, they wanted a high punishment, and I believe in this world, doing something like that is execution worthy. But obviously Julius was moved, so you know what I mean, bro thought ahead. Julius is the GOAT. He thought, do you know what, how can I soothe the knight's anger and also save this guy that's just came in being a dumbass but with good intentions? So Julius initiated the door and humiliated Subaru, and at the time we think that Julius is a fucking scumbag. Do you know what I mean? We think why is he humiliating Subaru like this? But we've got to think Julius basically saved Subaru. Subaru would have had an even higher punishment for what he did. Julius humiliating Subaru was a godsend gift. Was a godsend gift. If bro didn't act on time, you know what I mean? Who knows where Subaru would have been? But basically, Julius saved Subaru. Humiliating him was literally the best scenario that could have came out from Subaru's actions. But obviously, Subaru felt humiliated. His pride took a hit. He got embarrassed in front of the woman he loves. You know what I mean? Like, his pride took a massive hit. But we see this episode with Julius. Julius's pride takes a hit. His knighthood, his literal way of life, is being disrespected by Reed Estrella, and he is being absolutely disrespected in front of the woman he swore to protect. You know what I mean? This is a parallel right now. This is a massive parallel, and it's really nice to see because it just shows facts like these, little information that don't get unnoticed. But yeah, Julius probably took a hit this time. He felt like his knighthood was disrespected. Subaru's trying to help Julius walk down the stairs, but, you know, Julius is prideful, he's a knight, he refuses Subaru's help. But, you know what I mean, Subaru being in this position before, quite literally being in the same room as the person that disrespected him, knows far too well what Julius is feeling, the humiliation, the disrespects, you know what I mean? Your pride just took a massive hit. So Subaru walks up to him, grabs his arm, and he's like, shut up, man, like, we've both been humiliated now, we'll help you walk down these motherfucking stairs. So Subaru, being his stubborn self, does not let Julius wallow in his feelings for long as he rushes back to help support Julius, as we see a brighter side to this complicated friendship the two share. The episode ends with a flashback where we see a past Julius shocked at Subaru's boasting about being Emilia's self-proclaimed knight, as the current Julius narrates over the scene. If nobody else in that room was moved by this man's words, someone in the room was, as he was talking about himself. And then that's where the episode ends. So this is where it kind of gets proven that what Julius did was in order to help Subaru. Julius didn't humiliate Subaru just to be a dickhead. This guy humiliated Subaru to save him because the words he just spoke, if nobody else in that room was moved by his words, someone was, and he was speaking about himself. Nobody in that room was speaking about the Knights. Obviously, the Knights are pissed. They weren't moved at all by Subaru's words. Julius was, and that's why Julius chose to act in that moment. And obviously, it's such a beautiful fucking episode. It really is, because it just sheds more light on Julius's character. Because, you know what I mean? He's not the dick that people thought he was in season 1. His actions are justified. What he did was justified. And, you know what I mean? It's also, like I said previously, it's nice to see the parallels. We got to see Subaru in season 1 get humiliated, his pride took a hit, and we saw the way he acted. And we're kind of seeing this now with Julius. His pride took a hit. We're seeing the way he's acting. But obviously, Subaru being humiliated before, knows what to do, knows how Julius is feeling. And you know what I mean? These two have such a complicated relationship. But it's nice to see that, you know what I mean? That when they have the moments, they have the moments. And yeah, that's the end of the episode. And honestly, I really did enjoy it. It was such a beautiful episode. We got the mix of action, like I said, and we also got the mix of emotion. And honestly, what can I say but peak? But thank you all so much for watching. If you did, leave a like and tell me down in the comment section down below what your favorite part of the episode was and what your favorite part of the arc is at the moment. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I really am, because I basically, yeah, there's a spoilers going around on Twitter at the cliffhanger of next week, this next episode. And honestly, this is where people are saying this is where Arc 6 starts, and they are right. They are right. I'm so looking forward to seeing it. But alas, I will leave you all now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all for the next episode. Peace out.